A coworker prayed for my fiance's death in his car accident and hoped that the other person would survive instead. So, I decide she's not welcome to our wedding. Guys, my name's Mr. Reddito. If you're new to the channel, I read daily stories of some of the craziest, most dramatic stories found on the World Wide Web. Today is a work drama exclusive, and I honestly can't wait to hop right into it. So check out the channel, subscribe if you're new, and let's see what this story's about. My fiancé Ted has worked for 10 years on a small, very close-knit team, all of whom seem to get along exceptionally well. All the team members and spouse partners socialize outside of work together as well, and we consider them to be all close friends. We thought they felt the same. A few months ago on the way to a work event, Ted and his coworker's best friend Bob were involved in a serious car accident and were rushed to the emergency room. Everyone waited anxiously for hours as they both underwent surgery. Thankfully, they both recovered. When Ted returned to work, a team member named Sally told him that he had a confession to make. She said that while they had been in surgery, she prayed that God had to let one of them die. She hoped it would be him. What the heck? Ted was shocked and asked why. He said she gushed on and on about what a saint Bob is. Her examples were that Bob gives her great advice on her struggling marriage and has loaned her money when she was in tight spots. She finished by saying, "No disrespect to you, but Bob is in a class by himself. You have to admit you can't measure up to that." And then she walked away. Ted was truly devastated to learn that she felt this way, but he tried to attribute it to the stress of the situation and did his best to put it behind him. He never told anyone else on the team what she said and tried to continue on at work as if nothing happened. But his relationship with Sally hasn't recovered. He is still deeply wounded by her comments. Although Ted appears to be a confident person, underneath he is a fairly insecure person, and he truly thought Sally was a good friend. So, in addition to causing him a lot of pain, this has also rattled his confidence. Now he's wondering if all his team members secretly feel the way she does. Ted and Sally have always seemed to have a warm, cordial relationship that he can't understand why she would say such a hurtful thing. Ted's now constantly measuring himself against Bob and questioning why he isn't as, quote, good. I suggested that perhaps Sally has a crush on Bob or feels closer for him for reasons that have nothing to do with Ted. But he's convinced that she thinks she sees him as a second-tier man and worries other people do too. Our wedding's coming up soon and the venue strictly limits the number of guests. When it was time to send out invitations, Ted invited the rest of the team and their spouses but did not invite Sally and her husband. I expressed my concerns that this would cause major problems, but he replied that since we could have a limited number of guests, he'd prefer to spend our special day with another pair of close friends who, quote, genuinely love and appreciate us, rather than a woman whom is in a relationship is now severely strained. 2 weeks ago, I got a call from another team member named Alice, asking me if I had forgotten to send an invitation to Sally. I explained that because the venue's small, we simply could not invite everyone. Alice then told Ted that if we did not invite Sally, she and other women on the team would not attend either. Ted told her that since the invitations have been already gone, there's no way to add Sally and her husband unless we uninvited 2 other guests, which we simply won't do. Now all the women on the team, including Sally, are freaking out. They refuse to speak to him except when forced to, which is really starting to adversely impact the collaborative work the team does, and hampering Ted's ability to do his job. The men on the team have sided with Ted, saying they feel that we have the right to invite or not invite whomever we want to our own wedding. This has caused an even further rift in the team. Everyone's questioning Ted about why we did not invite Sally, but He doesn't feel it's his place to explain why he doesn't want her to attend, and just keeps repeating that his decision was due to the venue size limitations. The manager of the team works at another site, and because the team has previously worked so well together, has historically been fairly hands-off, and is oblivious to what is happening now. But if the work continues to suffer, she's going to notice and ask what's going on. What, if anything, should Ted do? Should he preemptively go to the manager to give her a heads up? Or will that make it even worse and seen as tattling? Is there anything else he can do to, quote, fix this on the team before it erodes their work product even more? I did week in and called the venue, who grudgingly said they would be willing to accommodate one more couple. Should we break down and invite Sally to the wedding for the sake of harmony at work? I wrote you recently about my fiance, Ted, who was in a car accident with his coworker, Bob. Their coworker, Sally, confessed to Ted that she prayed if God had to let one die, she hoped it was him. Thank you so much for your great insights, advice, and quick response. Here's an update. Fortunately, this resolved very, very quickly. The morning after I wrote you, Bob privately asked Ted if they could talk about the situation with Sally. Turns out, Sally does have a crush on Bob. When they returned to work after the accident, she told Bob that they thought she might lose him, and it made her realize she loves him. Bob said he told her he's a happily married man and not interested. He said that since then, she's been driving past his house repeatedly, calling his phone then hanging up, sending weird texts, some continuing to be suggestive or expressing her love, while others are angry, almost threatening, despite his asking her to stop. Ted ended up telling Bob about his bizarre conversation with her. Bob said he would quietly talk to others on the team to explain why Ted did not want to invite her to the wedding. But Bob also decided it had all become weird enough that he needed to talk to their manager. Just give a heads up. I don't know what happened after his meeting with the manager, but that afternoon it was announced that Sally's no longer working there. Ted's actively looking for a new job, and we read your advice and comments together. Ted agrees that he should have talked to Sally directly about how much her comments upset him, and that he should not have given at least a vague explanation to the others as to why she was the only one not included. We both have now learned the hard way that, from now on, we need to keep boundaries between our professional and personal relationships. Ted especially appreciates all the supportive comments regarding therapy, and says he's going to make an appointment to see someone. This has definitely been a learning experience, and we both sincerely appreciate the help. When you're caught up in drama, getting an outside perspective is so valuable. Thank you. And one more little mini update. Apparently, Bob told everyone all that had occurred. All but one of the women have apologized to Ted, saying they should have known he would not exclude Sally for no reason. Still, you were so right. We shouldn't have excluded one couple with no explanation. No one has heard from Sally, but someone from security came to clear out her desk. I guess based on her bizarre behavior with both Bob and Ted, she's struggling right now with some sort of mental health issues, and I hope she gets help. Hey guys, so it seems this coworker is a pretty bad person, but more incredibly stupid. I mean, she did not have to even go out of her way to mention this. Why go up to someone randomly and tell them, I wish if someone had to die, it would have been you? If you really think that, well, that's weird, but it's something you should keep to yourself. Guys, let me know exactly how you would have handled this if you were OP's husband sitting in the workplace and she just randomly walks up to you and tells you this awful news. Drop your comments down below. That's the only story I have for you guys today. It did come complete with all the updates, but if it ever updates again, you guys will be the first to know. Subscribe to the channel, and I hope you guys have an amazing day. Mr. Reddito will see you tomorrow.